Welcome back, everybody, to the Servin podcast. I am Joe Servin, the host with the most. Well, first and foremost, as I always do, all glory to God for allowing me to be in this position to have this microphone in front of my face, look at this camera, speak to the rest of you, and give my opinion and my thoughts on sports related topics. So, thank you to our Lord for this opportunity. Now, with that being said, as everybody can tell, whether you know me, you don't, you're just watching for the first time, as you could tell by looking behind me, as you can tell by looking at my fit, I'm a Rams fan, and I have been since I watched Eric Dickerson run against the Chicago Bears in the playoffs. The very first time I became a Rams fan. That was actually the very first football game that I watched as a kid. Very first game I ever watched. Did not watch football before that. That was the very first game that I saw. I saw Eric Dickerson running with that football. Saw those yellow horns, those blue helmets, and I became a fan ever, and I've been a fan ever since. I've been a Rams fan for over 4 years. I've seen a lot, just like a lot of other Rams fans, older than me, just as old as me, just a little younger than me. Seen a lot, witnessed a lot. Seen some guys go, seen some guys come. We've seen some guys go, they just had us scratching our head. Had some guys go that we understood. Had some guys go that we just hurt to see go. And one of those guys right now is Cooper Kupp. And I know I speak for a lot of Rams fans when I say none of us want to see Cooper Kupp go. We don't. It's for someone like me who doesn't think like the average Rams fan, who definitely doesn't think like these new Rams fans, who doesn't think like a a media member, an analyst. I was raised to be my own thinker, think for myself. So the thoughts that you hear from me, what you hear from me, is how I feel. I don't piggyback off of what everybody else says. I don't. I don't care if it's media. I don't care if it's a fan base. I don't piggyback off of what nobody says. I listen to what's being said. I take it in. I make my own assessments. I don't think like everybody else. I'm probably the only Rams fan you will see that is not one of those Rams fans that's just and it just doesn't think, doesn't understand. I'll have conversations with Niner fans that I know, Cowboy fans, Raider fans, no matter the sports team or the NFL team in this case. And when they start to pick apart my brain, they understand where I'm coming from. Like, you're different. You're not like the rest of them. Just because I'm not. I'm not like the rest of them. I was trained to think as an individual, to think for myself. And that's what I do. So the opinions that you hear, the thoughts that you hear, those are mine. And with that being said, I hate to see Cooper Kupp go. I hate it. Like the rest of the Rams fans, I hate it. I understand. And I understand that what the Los Angeles Rams are doing in this instance with Cooper Kupp, they respect him enough to tell him that they're going to trade him and that they're going to allow him to seek the location he would like to go to for him and his family. They could have just traded him and not even tell him where he was going to go. They could have traded him to Cleveland for all we know. But they're allowing him to pick his destination where he wants to go. That's commendable. But we also have to understand something too. This is also a business. As much as it sucks, Cooper Kupp will always be a Ram. Once a Ram, always a Ram. But we have to be able to analyze and understand where the Rams are coming from. He's owed a lot of money. Back-to-back seasons. He's coming off really significant injuries. And if you're watching tape, whether it's this past season, last season, 2021, 2017, 2018, wherever, the one thing he was able to do then that he can't do now, he can't create separation. And maybe that's what the Rams know. Maybe that's what the tape shows. And it's not the ability. Let me make that clear. It's not his ability. It's not that he can't. It's that he physically can't. And I think those injuries are starting to catch up with him. Though I believe those injuries are not allowing him to create separation. Like I said, I love Cooper Kupp. The dude does anything and everything for this team just to help this team win. Very unselfish, and I love that about him. He's a very unselfish player. Like I said, I hate to see him go. I understand. The Rams don't want to hinder him. They don't want to hinder this organization or this fan base. Now, what I mean by this fan base is this. Some of you Rams fans weren't Rams fans long enough to remember those decades of losing that we had in the early to late 90s and the late 2000s up until Sean McVay showed up. You guys don't know what it's like. You guys don't know what it's like to have to go through those losing seasons. Yeah, we had two losing seasons under Sean McVay, but that wasn't because the team was bad. That was because of the injuries that we suffered 2019 and 2022. And we just couldn't recover from those injuries. Those teams that we had were badly coached. We had bad football teams. So I completely understand. The Rams want to give us something to cheer for, something to root for. They don't want to do Cooper Kupp a disservice. They don't want to do the fan base a disservice, let alone the organization. So I understand. I understand the move. I don't have to like it, but I understand it. I respect it, and I trust what Les and Sean are doing. And these guys have proven it time in and time out. When every single one of these Rams fans were questioning this team, a lot of you exist. You doubted how good this team was going to be. Media members, analysts, everybody doubts this team. And all Les and Sean have done is proven every single one of these people wrong. From analysts to media to even the Rams fan base. Because, like I said, a lot of you so-called Rams fans out there are the same Rams fans that don't have belief in this team. You guys are the same Rams fans that asked for Cooper Kupp to be traded years ago. You same Rams fans that wanted Cooper Kupp traded years ago are the same fans that are complaining about the Rams trading him. You guys are the same Rams fans that wanted Sean McVay fired, Aaron Donald traded, Stafford traded. And now here we are in a position where Kupp is going to get traded. Stafford's under contract, and you guys are screaming about that too. But I'll get to that after. Got to be able to have trust in this organization, in this franchise. They've proven it, especially under this regime. And it just so happens that every topic that I have today just coincides with each other. Because Callie Stafford decides to get on her podcast and talk about Cooper Kupp's business and her frustration with the Rams looking to trade him, and the comments and the really stupid comments that she made. Like, look, there's no disrespect to Callie Stafford, no disrespect to Matthew, none whatsoever. What they've done for this organization, for the city of Los Angeles, for the fan base is unbelievable, and can't thank them enough for it. But you can't make the comments that you make, because now you not only do you alienate the franchise, now you alienate those players he has to go to war with, because you just called them nobodies. Matthew comes back and he has to come back to that. He possibly has to come back to these guys telling him, "Hey, what's with your wife?" Basically calling us nobodies by the comments that she made. My husband doesn't want to just throw to anybody, to nobodies. Like, come on, that is not. You are not Cooper Kupp's business. With all due respect, you are allowed to voice your opinions and speak your frustrations. But when it comes to that man and Cooper Kupp, that is the responsibility of his wife to make that comment. Now, if it revolves around your husband, it's a totally different story. But if anybody was going to make those types of comments and disparaging comments towards the organization, that should be Cooper Kupp's wife, not Kelly Stafford. With all due respect, just gotta think about what you say before you say things. It's not hard. Most of us have been taught this. Think about what you say before you say. Because I'm going to say this now. Let's say Matthew Stafford doesn't come back. You don't think this is going to be part of the reason why? You don't think the words that Kelly Stafford put out in the universe would be part of the reason why they decided to move on from Stafford? Maybe the part of the reason why they don't want to give him the amount of money that he wants is because of that. This is why I say I don't think like like everybody else, but you have to think about that. If Stafford is no longer around and they can come up with the number for him to resign, or maybe he has a particular number, but they don't want to go there because they know in the background they may have to deal with Kelly Stafford possibly putting her 2 cents in. Maybe that's a headache they don't want to deal with. I'm just saying these are things you got to think about. And as we talk about Stafford at the same time, I personally believe Matthew Stafford's coming back. I don't think he's going anywhere. Like I said earlier, we're a false start away from winning that game against the Eagles. We're a chip block away from winning that game against the Philadelphia Eagles in the snow in Philadelphia. This Rams team has every opportunity to make a Super Bowl run next season. Rams know that. Stafford knows that. Those players in that locker room know that. Priority number one, make sure we bring Stafford back. 100%. 100%. And I think it will get done. But there's always a but here. You just never know. I know for a fact that Sean McVay, Les Snead, everybody in that front office, everybody in that locker room, and the entire fan base wants Stafford back. And we all know Stafford wants to stay. We all know this. And like I said, I think it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. He'll be back as a Ram. Quarterback that gives us the best opportunity to win. But there is another one. There is another one. Let me pivot over to this real quick and get back to Stafford afterwards. Well, again, this conversation falls in line with each other. For some reason, if for some reason Matthew Stafford and the Rams can come to an agreement and they decide to trade him, here's what happens. One, you free up some cap space. Two, you could bring in another elite receiver, someone like T. Higgins, perhaps, Someone like Keenan Allen, perhaps. Someone like Devontae Adams. I'm not opposed to either one of those three, to be honest with you. But here's where it gets interesting for me. And this is where I'm going to speak to Rams fans as well, especially the Rams fans. You have to learn how to think with your head and not with your heart. A lot of these Rams fans like to make comments because of what's in their heart and not what's in their head. Let's remove the heart for a second when it comes to this particular topic, this particular person, Aaron Rodgers. He has proven he can win. Now, is there a situation where he's going to be here for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years? No, it's not happening. You have an ability to bring him in as a bridge quarterback. In the meanwhile, you can probably find one in the draft. Maybe you find one in next season's draft. Who knows? It'll cost you a lot. It'll cost you a lot less money to keep him. It'll cost you a lot less money to sign him. It allows you to pick up other free agents where you can bring in another offensive lineman. You can bring in an inside linebacker. Maybe you bring in a defensive back, or maybe you go in. Like, for me, I've been advocating for the Rams to draft an elite defensive back in the first round, unless there's someone like Shador there for them. I doubt it, but I'm just an example. Get you an elite defensive back. Maybe you don't sign one of those high level receivers like Devontae Adams or whatever, and you go and you draft a wide receiver. For me, I see it like this. Again, this is hypothetical. Let's just say Stafford is not coming back. Rams fans would rather see Garoppolo or Josh Fields over Aaron Rodgers. We have an opportunity to win now. And again, you have to learn how to put your emotions and your heart in check and use your head. Because again, a lot of you Rams fans that don't want Aaron Rodgers are the same Rams fans that didn't go through these losing seasons that most of us had to endure and had to go through. I want this team to be in a position to win Super Bowls. Again, for me, priority number one is always going to be Matthew Stafford. But we're going to be hypothetical, and I have to use again. I'm not the I'm not the hugest Aaron Rodgers fan personality wise, but if he can keep that stuff in check, which I think the Rams are going to put that in check, because the Rams got that cachet, they can do that. Sean McVay can do that. He's proven himself. I think that works out. And like I said, who knows if you bring in a guy like T. Higgins and Devontae Adams or Keenan Allen. Now you got any one of those two guys to go along with Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, and Jordan Whittington. I like that. You got Kyren Williams in the backfield. I like that. I like that. Now again, I'm gonna state this again. My preferred quarterback would always be Matthew Stafford. But if they can't come with an agreement, I have to think with my head and not with my heart. I have to put my emotions in check. Aaron Rodgers would give us the best opportunity to win. He would. Because if you bring in someone like Justin Fields, I said Josh Fields earlier, I meant to say Justin Fields. If you bring in someone like Justin Fields, you're basically punting on the entire season. Not when we have the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. If you're going to bring him in to learn from a veteran quarterback, I'm good, referring to Justin Fields. But if we're trying to win now, and we have the opportunity to win now, and we can't bring Stafford back, then go get Aaron Rodgers. If not Aaron Rodgers, maybe you get Sam Darnold. He knows the offense. And I know what people are going to say about Sam Darnold. Oh, no, well, look. If you're a Rams fan, then you know. Again, use your head. That Rams defensive front beat up on their offensive line all game long, and that dude had no chance to throw that football. Come on. He had no chance to get rid of that football. That's not on him. When your offensive line is not giving you enough time to throw in the pocket, that's what happens. And for the record, and if people are going to use that game as the example on how bad he played and how many times we sacked him, yeah, we sacked him 7 times in that game. We also sacked Jalen Hurts 6 times in the snow. So that shouldn't diminish anything about Sam Darnold. These are just options. These are just options. Again, for me, Matthew Stafford is the first priority. That's the first chip that needs to fall. And I think it is. When the 2025 season kicks off, Matthew Stafford will be under center. I will be surprised if he's not. I will be surprised if he's not. Matthew Stafford will be here. Matthew Stafford will retire around when it's all said and done. And yeah, we will end up drafting a quarterback to succeed Matthew Stafford. Let me know what you think about the show. Even if you're not a Rams fan, let me know what you think about the show. Give me your opinions. Let me know what you think. Hit the comment, the like, and the subscribe button. And if you know somebody that's a Rams fan or not, or you have a particular topic you would like my opinion, whatever team you're a fan of, let me know in the comment section. I'll do a show on that too. I'm well rounded. I don't just speak Ram stuff. I'll speak anything. Until that time, like I said, hit the like, subscribe buttons, and tune in to the next episode.